Okay, before we start the discussion, I want to introduce myself. My name is Alfianus Putra Raden. You can call me Alvin. I want to discuss in the cannabis saga. The stigma of cannabis is still black. Indonesia society is still trapped in the truth that cannabis is waste the history, the national generation. PT cemeteries attended criminalize cannabis into narcotic group 1. Cannabis a treat book becomes a serious counterpoint to the outdated truth. A narrative about benefit of cannabis is many aspect of life, complete by a non-profit organization that focus on accounting the use of cannabis, Lingkar Ganja Nusantara or LGN. The Tale of Cannabis treats its first book at the same time giving the most objective review of cannabis in Indonesia. In this book, LGN presents various facts and that relate to the use cannabis plant. What is marijuana? Marijuana plant a productive fiber, but if better known from narcotic contact in the seeds, tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, tetrahydrocannabinol, which can make a user experience euphoria. Marijuana plants are usually made into marijuana cigarette. Here I will share several acts about the use of cannabis tears. First round. First round introduction to cannabis. In this round, marijuana is like a treat of life that is all because of legends that have been traditionally present to the world. In in the form of marijuana as a plant with a various societal and meteorological stories is said to be closely influenced in evaluation, the curse of civilization and achievement of human technology. Although now marijuana is often associated with negativity, in fact in the marijuana was actually seen as multi-purpose plant alliance can be used for many purposes. For example, cannabis can be used as a source of clothing, food, shelter, medicine, and the shape energy. The rest, this round tell the full story related to the history of naming cannabis. How about this plant? What found around the years 3000 BC? This fact was found on Kelly tables written with nails by the Sumerians. Second round. The second round. Uh, the second round is the second round is chapter that explain the marijuana civilization in the world. Of all the context of the books, this is most interesting part because it contains the fact that cannabis civilization the world began to develop thousands of years ago. The fact in marijuana is not only used for fun is reviewed in the pen here. This round example how cannabis is used as support from rituals, medicinal materials, and even energy booths in various parts of the world such as China, Persia, India, Japan, Greece, Romance, and many more. In the plain of China, for example, two botanists, Richard Schultz and Albert Hofmann, explained cannabis has been planted in main Chinese since 1805 years ago. Treat health. Finally, about medical marijuana, the development of the use of marijuana in medical matter is centrally a highlight in this round. Various facts from various journals also appeared to support the opinion of cannabis plant can be used of thyroid disease, a series of diseases that are written Alzheimer's, glaucoma, arthritis problems, ur- urinary things, and so forth. This proves that a nation of lay users and experts who consider the use of cannabis only can cause someone to be lazy or lose motivation. In effect, a comprehensive study in Jamaica in 1876 about the use of cannabis over years suggested that for energy, cannabis is consumed in the morning during breaks and middle of work routines, or just before doing heavy work right of page 75. Conclusion: overall, reading this book is mandatory. Mandatory because this book it's only book that review extensively about cannabis in Indonesia. Mandatory because this book makes a lot of interesting facts related to the use of cannabis various parts of the world, as well as mandatory because marijuana can potentially be the answer to cure various diseases. However, the name of a work, of course, there are shortcomings if treated. The shortcomings can even be seen from the lack of development content about the extent of the existence of marijuana in the archipelago, how its story, culture, or about those who use marijuana as well as its purpose. Apparently, the different team was so serious its work on the book by overtaking one by one facts from around the world related to the use of cannabis. To forget the development of third if of life in its own country, Indonesia. In addition, in the last presentation, there were various comments with tendency to support the existence of marijuana to immediately begin to be used by political makers, all who give good comment from Panji Pragiwaksono as a comedian to Prof. Der Kamarudin Hidayat as academy has one voice that is to support. Person, Presumably, the owner of the books forget that to repurpose the narrative of support, at least also show those who disagree with those, or maybe those who rivals don't even exist. I have no idea. It's all up to you. Thank you for this discussion. I will say thank you for you all.